You're never gonna see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need.
Can't never forget.
Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees.
I never forget.
Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed.
And they gotta get it.
Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
Woo.
You're now tuned in to Precept Upon Precept.
Crew so strange. Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression, never killer. Breaking dreams that is bitter. Ready, set, bullet.
Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Israel, shalom, shalom. Welcome to another edition, Precept Upon Precept, late night show where your host, I'm Captain Shem.
Captain Matt. Officer Mikael.
All praise to the Most High like we do actually, Cap, let's plug the Booster Club. We can never plug this enough. I want to thank, speaking to the camera, all you brothers and sisters, you faithful, you few and faithful brothers and sisters that give to the Booster Club. IUIC, we appreciate, especially some of us who benefit from that we have the privilege to be able to go and teach the word. Now, we're not on vacation when we go, but we have the privilege to teach the word, and you're going to donate. There's the PayPal. Also, you could text the word GIVE to 646-982-3858. So, like we do every show, we're going to start off with Officer Micah with the Watchmen Report. Take it away.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless, great show ahead, so let's not waste any time. I got a video for you. Let's see what what Little America say about DJ Trump. Play the footage.
No, he's the first Jewish president to
Hold
serve
up.
two.
He said he's the first Jewish president. Play it again.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president. No, he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
They ain't even trying to hide it no more. Next article. Let's get the article. Y'all got it up? All right, let's go. Fact-checking Trump's claim that Iran has Tomahawk missiles. They better check something because Iran is going to war. They tearing some stuff up over there. Trump taunts cutting drug prices, slams fellow Republican Rep. Massey during stops in Ohio, Kentucky. They cut drug prices. They also raising gas prices. Day 12 of Middle East conflict. Ships hit by attacks in Strait of Hormuz. They got ships waiting right now, and they ain't letting the American ones come through. It's getting there. Aaron Brunette and Jeremy Diamond take shelter in Tel Aviv as missile sirens ring out. They blowing up the sirens and everything. Day 19 of Middle East conflict. Trump threatens Iran's gas fields. Gulf energy site come under attack. It's getting real. Make sure y'all stand in the spirit. All right, this concludes the Watchmen Report.
We the sons of God.
right, shalom, y'all. Welcome back. So we have on the screen, Officer Mikhail is in the building. Why don't you go ahead and break down this, what the audience is seeing?
So the title of tonight's show is Backsliding Babylon, and it's Plummeting Petro Dollar. So what we have is Donald Trump, obviously, because he's the ringleader of this chaos. We have the Statue of Liberty, and we have, actually that's the Empire State Building kind of masquerading, has the Tower of Babel. It's all symbolism in the background. We got the fighter jets because we were at war. You see the guys with the mask on their face, that's your sleeper cells. We have the stock market pummeling and oil because it's all about the oil. If y'all have the moving thumbnail ready, could y'all play that real quick for us?
So we got an animated one. All right, let's see it. Okay, it's a little something. It's a little something. One day we gonna get some like Saturday theme lineup, but they got many movies. But that takes a lot of work. We do know that. All right, so let's get right into the show. We have a lot of stuff to cover. I don't think we're gonna get to it all, but I want to show y'all, right? This week there's a major thing that happened this week. There was a guy that resigned from a major position. And later on, probably the second half of the show, we're going to get into it. And this was a Caucasian who was an American telling on this United States of America. And it's an outcry. But give me number one. This is a guy named Ken O'Keefe. And they're having like an informal discussion, but what they're saying is spot on. These are probably men in their 40s and 50s. They're talking about how ISIS was fabricated and created by the Israeli Mossad and the CIA, and that they are Arab in race, but they are not in practice at all. They're not Islam anything. Watch, this is Esau telling about their own governments. Play that.
And Al-Qaeda. Who's really behind them? Is it just a coincidence that they've happened to attack absolutely everybody except for Israel?
So ISIS, the best way, that one's just so simple. Like, that's a layup given to us by the Israelis themselves. Israeli Secret Intelligence Services. These are fake Muslims who do not practice anything even remotely close to what the Quran and Islam says. I say this as a Christian. So these people that you have been manipulated into believing are your enemies and confused with ISIS, the head-chopping galore hypocrites who have no Islamic nothing in them, a creation of the Jewish state.
So this is important because you get the American media will actually have American citizens who pay taxes believing a made-up organization that's funded, and these guys are rich. Behind when they take the mask, they have money, they have power. They could have been going to jail. They've been removed from that and given a new life as long as they follow the protocol. They use these terrorist organizations. Pull up a map real quick of the Middle East or the Sinai Peninsula. I know I didn't ask you for that. I'm going to show you the areas where they set up these fake Islamic CIA and Mossad levels. This is perfect. Yes. So, you ever ask yourself, why, oh, why, oh, why? Is the problems always in the Sudan and in Somalia? Not so much Eritrea, but let's think about it. Sudan border, look at the port of Sudan. If I'm Esau, I'd really like to have that land. Especially Somalia. Somalia is a peninsula that goes, it's really more of the Middle East than it is an African country because of its proximity to the Middle East. Look at that peninsula, how it sticks out. The control you would have if you could be on that coast. This is why they create these rebel groups to go in and fight against the government. They're funded by the CIA and other entities. Same thing anywhere you see, plus all the bases, they're created for destabilization through, and you had those 3 white gentlemen that said exactly, okay, but if we say it, we're anti-Semitic. So now what they're doing is they're starting to label their own people anti-Semitic. Go back to the, go to number 2. So I'm going to get number 2, and then please, y'all say whatever y'all want. Number 2 is, this is the guy's name is Professor Morandi. He is he teaches English literature and other content at Tehran University. He's a major professor. He's on every show now you see him. And he's been cutting up all these news anchors because he's intelligent and he's good with his words. So watch what he says here.
You advocate the devil.
Pause. Okay, I'm sorry. Is this the beginning? Okay. Piers Morgan is widely regarded as, in Esau's world, he's a straight shooter. He reports the fact. He's not biased, right? This guy, Professor Morandi, is tearing this dude apart. All right, now, all the way from the beginning, I hope I gave you the whole thing.
You advocate the devil.
It sounds like a guy who is trying to dictate to women how they should dress, how they should behave. Do you understand that in the West, we look at that as reprehensible behavior?
No, in the West, you objectify women, you commodify women, and you sexualize women, and you have Epsteins and many Epsteins who control.
Well, we give women the freedom to dress how they wish. Why would you decline them that freedom?
In Iran, we have women pilots, we have women scientists. My boss at the University of Tehran, the dean of my faculty is a woman. For the 21 years that I've been an academic at the University of Tehran, 17 and a half of those years, the dean of my faculty was one woman or another. Don't misrepresent.
So pause. So what? This is the problem with Caucasians and their one-sidedness. Everything that Pierce says, he really thinks he's saying the truth. So when you look at the 1960s of the United States of America, it was definitely black women, but the downfall and degradation of the American image of a woman went down. Women always traditionally wore dresses, and a lot of you, if you type in 1960s television commercials, even 70s, they'll show you traditional women in a dress. They were not obese and they were not sexualized. As a matter of fact, when women used to walk, all right, my grandmother used to tell, when women used to walk with their school books, they used to have a leather strap, and they would wear their books like this. They would keep, right? They would keep their books here. Why would they do that? Because their mothers taught them so that when little boys try to look at you, block your breast with your books. That was common practice up until probably almost the 70s. So what the professor's saying is, everything in your country you learned is wrong, and he's just cutting them up. He's just destroying them.
Hey, and Captain, he brought light to the fact that, you let them dress how they want. You also let them act how they want.
Right.
With coming with dressing how you want comes sexualization. You want to wear pants, but you're not going to wear big baggy pants. You're going to wear skimpy pants, tight pants to show off your figure. You're not going to just wear a shirt. You're going to wear a crop top. You're not just going to go outside and have your hair done. No, you're going to blonde your hair and red your hair and purple your hair. Whatever to draw attention to yourself sexually, that's what you're going to do. And Piers Morgan is trying to bring that jargon to the table because he knows that's a hot topic with American women. American women will agree with Piers Morgan. Yeah, you're right. They do let us dress how we want. Yeah, that's right. But then you're upset when human trafficking happens. Then you're upset when you're objectified. But then social media is nothing but women wanting to be objectified. It's crazy.
And not only is it crazy, it just shows that here it is, united in Christ, the movement we have to bring back femininity, make women feminine again. That's a wonderful thing when you see a woman who is modest and not showing her curves, and more worried about, hey, are my hips showing in this dress? If so, I'll go back and change. That's the spirit that we need to have. Now, what I like about what the professor said is, even though they do keep the traditional feminine garments in Iran, they're obviously deans of schools, pilots to become a pilot. So he's basically saying that, yes, our women are in order, and they still have the ability to excel in society. And it just shows you how ignorant a guy like Pierce really is. And because he has a platform where people, like Cap said, a lot of these women that support him, yeah, Pierce, you stick it up for us. No, the American government has failed their own white women. They have failed them. They have failed them. Go ahead, bring it out.
Cap, to that point, like you say all the time, our sisters, they have the capacity to dress modest. They will get on a plane and go to Dubai, and they don't buck up against them sand Negroes in Dubai. They put that dress on. They put they put all of it on. Yep. They don't push back against it. They do it. But the same sisters be out on the street. You tell them, hey, you should dress. I ain't doing that. Why I got to put a dress on? That's oppression. But you'll do it to go over to get dumped on. With no problems at all. They do it to go right to Dubai. They do. They put a dress on because they know that Ishmael is not going to play with them. But Esau, he will tell them lies here, and some of their people get caught up in it. But the majority of our people, they get caught up with them lies.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you. He's going to go on to say, and there's a whole interview. This is just a short, where this guy, Professor Miranda, he is a very sharp man, and he's hated. Okay. Continue.
Ron, it doesn't work anymore, Pierce. Your Western empire is on the decline. The whole of the global South is witnessing the crimes that are being carried out by your regimes, and your declining regimes are now despised by your own people. You're crushing people.
Pause. You see that? And that's the truth. And what I just played the first clip is in evidence of what he just said. You've got Caucasians, two of them look like Caucasians, who traditionally 50 years ago would have benefited from everything the government does. Now they're starting to see, well, damn, I got an 8-cylinder truck, and diesel's $5 a gallon. But I thought Trump was there to bring back the economy-focused America first, but yet he spent more than any other war in his first 2 years of term, first year in term of the second term, excuse me. Long story short, that the American citizens, when I mean the American citizens, white people are starting to get frustrated. And they are starting to, so what he is saying is a fact. Professor Miranda is saying facts. And guess what? Pierce has nothing to say. Pierce has nothing, he's a British guy, but he represents the white media in general. He has nothing to say, okay?
Hey, that's why they're going, the scriptures is correct. Can we get Isaiah 14? Is this the man?
Yep,
that's the part that I want. I believe it's verse 16 or 15, 17, something like that. It's around that area.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 15 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
And that's what Professor Miranda is saying. He's saying your own people despise you. Everybody hates you. Your Western regime is on the decline. If he, as a college professor, can see that, political leaders around the world can see it, military leaders around the world can see it, think tanks in other countries around the world can see it, other government agencies around the world can see it and know it. It's only a certain amount of time that's going to be left for Babylon the Great. They're not going to be great no more.
Hey, let me skip real quick. This is important. Give me the part that says, I was going to save this for later, but this is perfect timing. I'm going to show you how Iran's track record, how it aligns with the U.S. Number 8. This is a video from, I want to say 1981, maybe, or 91, 35 years ago. And he's comparing with a comparison chart Iran's history and the U.S. history. Now, keep in mind as we watch this, 35 years has passed, so that list that you're going to see would be a lot longer. I stumbled across this. I don't know how I just came up. It was beautiful that it came up. Play that. Watch this.
Look at Iran, and This is how many wars they have instigated or fought since the Second World War. Actually, that's how many they've instigated for about 200 bloody years. This is how many the USA has fought with Britain in tag most of the bloody time since the Second World War. These are American bases.
Pause. Do me a favor. Somebody type in a calculator 1991 minus 1945. I think it's 46 years. I could be wrong. So this chart that he's showing you, and let's say it's off by a name or country or two, is the number of 46? The number 46 years only. That list compiles the number of wars that the U.S. has started. Why is that important? Because since 1991, you've had the old Bush, you've had the then Clinton, you've had the dumb Bush. Who else you had? You had Barack Hussein Obama, right, for double term. Then you had Trump, then Sleepy Joe, and then back to Trump. So think about all the wars that have happened since this guy, David, is speaking 35 years ago. And this what goes to what Cap brought out in Isaiah. This man has weakened everything around him to the point where his own people, and I'm going to show you, matter of fact, we should probably get to it now. There was a resignation. We'll get, let's get to it now. I'll deal with the rest after. So I want you to pull up number 9. So Joe Kent, and the way I stumbled upon this is because I used to watch a show and I used to study. I got about a year. I wanted to start learning the difference in special forces because that was intrigued me how in special forces you have, actually special forces, to be clear, is only talking about the Green Berets. That's the only one. You have special operations that include in each branch of service to include Marine Corps Raiders. You have Navy SEALs. You have a tier 1, SEAL Team 6. The Army has a bunch. They have Army Rangers, which is, I think, tier 2. You have Army Delta Force, which is tier 1. You also have the Green Berets, which are called Special Forces. Then you have Air Force Long story short is the guy we're about to talk about has done 11 combat tours, and he was a Green Beret. He's the guy that resigned. Keep that in mind. This guy was a decorated, hardcore Green Beret war-fighting machine. This is the guy we're talking about that resigned. And then he started to become later in his political realm. So let's read the article, and let's not play the video right now. Let's read the article first.
Reuters, top U.S. security official quits, says Iran did not pose immediate threat.
So when it says the top, they should have reworded it. The official that he was in his capacity was very important for the war, because the reason why the Israelis and the U.S. said they went to war is to prevent future terrorism, right? They started a war because Iran is the international terrorist that funds everybody, that's going to create a bomb and then just kill everyone. But watch who he is. Read.
A top security official in U.S. President Donald Trump's administration resigned over the war in Iran on Tuesday, saying the country had posed no immediate threat to the United States.
So no imminent. Imminent means any pending danger. Okay, read on.
Joe Kent.
Stop. Joe Kent. Joe Kent. Not a lot of people know about Joe Kent. Who is Joe Kent? Give me the Sean Ryan clip. I believe it is number 11. So this guy, I like this guy. This guy, Sean Ryan, is a former Navy SEAL. He brings people on his couch, Marines, Army, Delta Force guys, and he has them talk about their PTSD, things they have been through in combat. Really, really some good content. And a lot of veterans, they go on there, they cry, they heal. Some of them were going to commit suicide, and some of the stories that he did help other vets not to commit suicide. So it's something that he does that's good for the veteran community. Watch what he talks about. Is it Jeff Kent? Whatever his name is. Joe Kent. Play that.
Friend Joe Kent resigned. I just want to read a couple of sections of his
That's not the one.
resignation.
Hold up. Not that. I want the one. Maybe I didn't give it to you. Damn. No, I had another one that went into his. All right, let's go number 10. Yeah, go number 10. I had another one I was going to send to you. Sean Ryan, it's a clip with Joe Kent. If you can see if you can find a clip with Joe Kent and he goes into his actual background while he's sitting right in front of him. But let's read number 10, Solomon.
Joe Kent is a retired U.S. Army Special Forces veteran who served for 20 years, retiring as a chief warrant officer.
So now, this is important because in the military you have basically 3 classifications. Well, there's 2, a third kind of. So the first one is enlisted rank. That's 01, you're private all the way up to whatever the hell it is. E9, whatever else. Sergeant Major Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Army, right? You got, I forget what the Navy is. Anyways, that's enlisted rank. That's like kind of like the blue collar. Then you have the officer, which starts as a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, so on and so forth. Then you have people that are experts in their MOS, which means your military occupation specialty, and they become so well, they get selected to become a chief warrant officer. So it's like you're an elite specialist of your job. To be selected, you have to know everything in that MOS. And that's what he was. So this guy, Joe Kent, he wasn't always a chief warrant officer. He became a platoon sergeant. He worked his way up the rank, became so smart in his specialty job that they made him a warrant officer, and he went up in that. Now, keep that in mind. Why am I going over this? Because he just quit. Okay, read it again.
Joe Kent is a retired U.S. Army Special Forces veteran.
So when you hear U.S. Army Special Forces, that means a Green Beret. It doesn't mean he was a Marine or a Navy SEAL. He was a Green Beret. That is a specific term that the U.S. Army uses. Read on.
Who served for 20 years.
That means he probably got a retirement. 20 years meaning he did. That's a lifer. Read on.
Retiring as a chief warrant officer.
He retired as a chief warrant officer. Read on.
He completed 11 combat deployments.
That's incredible. 11 combat deployments. Read.
Primarily in Iraq and Yemen.
Yemen. Pull up the map real quick of the Middle East. So if anybody knows about the Middle East, he kind of does know. He probably more than Trump does.
He damn near lived over there.
Yeah. Right.
Out of 20 years, more than 50% of his time was spent overseas. That dude damn near lived there.
And remember, as a Green Beret, their deployments can go longer. They could be in country. They grow their beards out. They don't wear standardized BTUs many times. So he was in Iraq, which is, look at Baghdad, right next to Iran. He was also in Yemen. Yemen is down below Saudi Arabia. If you can use your pointer for the audience at home to see. Are you showing me or that? Show that. Don't show me. Yeah, there you go. So Yemen is right there. Iraq is literally 12 o'clock, straight up. He was over there, and most of his deployments were in the Middle East. So he understands life because he lived it. I never lived it. I know Captain Matthew, up to Mike and Solomon, they lived it for a short period of time.
It said he started out with the 75th Ranger Regiment.
Oh, he was a Ranger
He
first.
was a Ranger.
Oh,
he was a tan
wow.
beret. Then he went green. He knows war.
So, Officer Micah, he just mentioned, so in the Army, and we have different things. Like, we always say, oh, the Marines are the toughest. Okay, yeah, they may have the toughest boot camp. But once you get to your branch of service, they have different. A Army Ranger is a badass mother effer. They are some really tough guys. He went from the 75th Ranger Battalion, which is, he didn't go to Ranger school like a lot of guys. He went to Ranger school, and he was a Ranger. And after that, then he went to the Green Berets. And after that, he became part of elite military unit called the CIA Special Ops Unit, which is, it's a Tier 1 unit. It's equivalent to like SEAL Team 6. and Delta. It's like the top guys. He did all of that in his military career, and a lot of it was over, like Cap said, did a lot of time over there. Now, why am I building this up like this? This guy, yesterday or the day before, resigned from an extremely high-profile, prestigious position. And it's being talked about, but they're not saying his side of the story. They're demonizing him, say he's anti-Semitic, he's saying.
Cap, the security clearance on that guy?
Yeah.
Come on now. And he just going to walk away? He knows some stuff. He knows what's wrong. Brothers with security clearances, whether it be secret, top secret, or otherwise, stuff runs across you, and you see stuff that everybody don't get to see, and it's like, what the hell is this? Whatever he saw, whatever he came across, whatever information hit his ears, he knew that it wasn't right.
So one of the reasons you're going to read a little bit later on, the reason why he's so adamant about it is he obviously lost a lot of friends in combat. He lost his first wife in combat. She was in the U.S. Navy. She became a CIA operative, and she got killed, I think, in Syria. So he was raising 2 kids by himself, and then he got remarried later on. Now, yeah, there he is in the, that's probably him. That's not traditional Army gear. Maybe it is. I can't tell.
I think that's the video you wanted.
Okay, yeah, show me that video. So this is him. Sean Ryan's going to give him a plug. Yes, Sean Ryan shows pretty good.
You are a 20-year veteran of Army Special Forces. Then you went on to a field operative job at the Central Intelligence Agency. Your first wife, Shannon.
Hey, stop it. Go back. I want y'all to go back when they were showing him in the special operatives.
Field op-
Use the mouse. Don't use the...
Scroll slow. Go forward. Go the other way. Go forward. Yeah. A little bit more. He was dressed. He was dressed like Ishmael. Probably in there somewhere. Right there. That's him, dressed as Ishmael. So what you're seeing is, like y'all were bringing out, he spent most of his time there. He knows things. He's seen things. So he understands what he's talking about.
To be among them that long, he probably knows their ideology. You get to know who they are, how they think. Now, don't get it twisted. All nations sold the children of Israel as slaves, and all of them are our enemies. But when you have conversations with them, you'll see where they stand on certain views. And that's probably more than likely what happened with him.
So this guy, we're painting a picture. Jeff Kent is a decorated combat veteran who made it to the rank of a chief warrant officer, and he was retired at that rank. He later became part of a special ops unit that was a Tier 1 unit, which Tier 1 is based upon funding and always having readiness to war. Like, for example, SEAL Team 6 is Tier 1. They are always on call. Matter of fact, they walk around with rounds in their chamber. They work with live rounds on their person at all times, in their weapons. Delta Force is a Tier 1. U.S. Navy submarine fleets are Tier 1. At any time, they could be on call. They get the most money. They get the best training. So he's been, like Captain Matt, he's been an elite with super-duper top clearances, just so we can make it plain. Go back, finish it up, and now I'm going to get to the letter. Because when we read his letter that he wrote, okay, he shook up Esau's world, and they're trying to blame him and saying that they're trying to investigate him and say he now was giving secrets away. Read that. Finish this. I'm sorry.
Central Intelligence Agency. Your first wife, Shannon, who also served, was killed while fighting ISIS in Syria. You're a widower raising...
Pause. Remember. Hold up. Remember. The second clip we showed is ISIS was fabricated and created by the Mossad and the CIA. His wife was killed by ISIS. Interesting how they fund something to create turmoil and drama. They send the regular military in, thinking they're fighting an enemy, and good white folks like his wife died. And now guys like this are like, wait a minute, this is all wrong. what we're doing is wrong. And when someone that's decorated like him stands up, they have to take notice of it. But then this is what they do. Then they begin to do the blame game. We're about to read his letter. After this, remind, we're going to read his letter. He wrote a resignation letter, and I have the letter. We're going to read it out loud. Play on the rest of this.
Young sons in Washington State and are now remarried to your wife, Heather Kaiser. You served as a foreign policy advisor to former President Trump. Your candidacy for U.S. Congress is focused on restoring common sense, Republican values, and you are the author of Send Me, the True Story of a Mother at War.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So now, let's go back to the article that tells about his background real quick. Go to key aspects. You had the right one. No. That's right. And we'll go back to the article in a minute.
Key aspects of Joe Kent's military background. Enlistment. Enlisted in the Army at age 17 or 18. Immediately entering the 75th Ranger Regiment.
Like Officer Micah pointed, they're probably the most hardcore out of everybody in the Army. They're not specialized like Delta, but these guys are just go look at the Army Ranger. They go through RIP, and they go through Ranger School, and their unit is. I was very impressed when I learned about that. Go. You say something, Micah?
They are the hammer of the Army. They are
His mic's going out. Help him out.
They are the hammer of the Army. The Rangers are.
Right. They in other words, they are master great at blowing and destroying the hell out of everything. Okay. Read on.
Special Forces earned his Green Beret in 2003, serving as a Special Forces weapons sergeant.
So he was in charge of weapons. Not only does he also knows about Russian weapons. He knows about Iranian weapons. He learns the enemy's weapon nomenclature. He has to, because if you get into a gunfight, and you have to be able to operate the weapons. So he was a weapons sergeant. This is why he became a chief warrant officer, because he knew everything about his MOS. It explains this, and he doesn't really look like a hardcore guy. This guy he's a silent assassin. Read on.
Combat experience. Served 11 combat tours across 20 years. Focusing on special operations, particularly in Iraq.
So he spent a lot of time in the Middle East. Okay. Now, let's read the letter. No, I'm sorry. Go back to routers, and then we'll read the letter. Start where it says Joe Kent.
Joe Kent, who headed the National Counterterrorism Center.
So he was in charge of, listen to what I'm saying to you, the National Counterterrorism Center. So his job was so if you have terrorism out there internationally, his job was to counter that. Meaning wherever they're about to make a move, he got to counter it. He's got to be 2 steps ahead of the terrorists. Counter the terrorists, counterterrorism. This guy who understands Iraq and Yemen, who was a ranger, who all these different things he had, CIA special operative, super high rank, he is the guy that's about to say this. Why is this important? Because half the people, for example, we often bring up Scott Ritter, a Marine Corps officer / chief, former chief, not regular guy, not a chief weapons inspector, who was over it and didn't find anything. Then another guy, Army Colonel Douglas McGregor. These guys are guys who have combat experience. These are the guys that should be advising. They're squelched. Their words do not get. McGregor was in with Trump before, and when his voice got silenced. The point is this: this is a guy who is like a McGregor but younger, like a Ritter but a little bit younger. He wrote this either yesterday or 2 days ago. Watch what this man writes.
I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation.
Stop. Scroll back up. I want you to read where it says Joe Kent again.
Joe Kent, who headed the National Counterterrorism Center.
Stop. No, you're reading it wrong. Doesn't it say international?
Who headed the National Counterterrorism Center.
So Joe's job is to make sure that terrorism doesn't affect the U.S., not Australia, not Ireland, and not India. He needs to protect the U.S. from, there's a saying, protect my country from all foreign and domestic. That's his job. Foreign affairs, looking after counterterrorism. He who served, I'm keep dragging it out, as all those accolades, anybody, whether you're an officer or enlisted, you got to respect his resume. I respect, I'm in the Marine Corps, I respect the hell out of his resume. I didn't do not 1/16 of what he did. But the thing about, he has credibility in amongst military veterans. So now let's read the actual letter, and then we're going to show you what people are literally calling this white person, white man, who is a war hero, a national Edomite treasure. Now he's, just because he's an anti-Semitic. He's anti-Semitic. All right, read this. Excuse me. Read the Director of National Intelligence, National Counterterrorism Center. This is his position. Look at the things at the top. The eagle. That's not. Whatever the hell the emblem is, 2 emblems with the eagle on them. Watch what he says, and it's directed at DJ Trump.
President Trump, after much reflection.
No, I just reflected. I just looked at one little report, Trump.
After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today.
So, do me a favor. Type in National Counterterrorism Center. And I want you to list the people. So I'm making a dramatic point. He wasn't the guy that was answering the doors. Everybody reported to him in that center. So he had a whole bunch of people that were real smart with high government clearances who have backgrounds in espionage and all counter-espionage, all those things. He's the guy that holds it down. This is the guy that is resigning. I'm showing you, man, we living in a Esau is everything the Bible he says he is. Okay. Well, can you type in just even a structure or the rank structure? No. Is there assistant director? Well, okay. All right. Well, anyways, let me see. Did I like this? I'm going to read it. As of March 2020, the National Counterterrorism Center is led by Director Joe Kent, a former Army officer, Chief Warrant Officer, appointed by the U.S. counterterrorism efforts. The NCTC employs over 1,000 personnel from approximately 20 federal agents, including intelligence analysts, contractors, and specialized detailees. So this is a huge national organization. He was appointed by Trump under Kelsey Gabbard, I think her name is, and he is a very smart guy, decorated war veteran who understands the Middle East. Why? Because he lived there. Mikhail pointed out. He dressed up in Arab garb. He knows what he's talking about. You would not give him this position if you did not trust his judgment, right? That's the point. Now, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to point out the fact that national counterterrorism means they had intelligence. They had contacts. They knew whether or not a threat was coming. That was his job. His job was threat assessment. And when he saw that, he's like, there was no threat here. I'm not comfortable with what's going on.
And so, and Esau always says, I want to be on the right side of history. So in his world, he is on the right side of history, but it doesn't matter because the prophecy will always over trump, pun intended, anything else that you see. So the fact that all Iran and everybody else in the world and all of these Democrats and these political figures that are going against Trump and even these podcasts like Candace Owens and Tucker, there's nothing they can do because God has given the power through prophecy to allow Netanyahu to draw the U.S. into the major war that's going to end all wars. It has to happen. So as Israelites, we sit back, we say, damn, we really are at the end of this thing. We are really at the end of this thing. And so just keep that in mind. When you see stuff like this guy resigning, it is a big deal. It just shows us that this government truly, truly is Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots, okay, that on many waters, okay? Read on, Solomon.
I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat.
Read it again.
Iran posed no imminent threat.
Why do we think this is, I'll get my Bishop Yawasop on. If there are 1,000 employees with their feelers out there from 20 federal agents, all type of security clearance, all type of satellite imagery, you have CIA operatives that are liaisons in foreign countries, hence the term embassies, hence the term Catholic Church. They all work together. They have eyes and ears everywhere through their massive networking of information. He reports there is no threat here. So that's him he's doing his job to the best of his ability. He says, if you're not going to let me do my job and you're going to override what I'm resigning, this is what's going on. Read on.
Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby.
So I'm going to tell you something, and you know what? If you a couple weeks ago, leave it on the screen. Don't put it on me. So a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks, we did a show, and it showed Donald Trump giving a State of the Union address, and it showed the Democrats would sit down and not clap for any of the points. And the Republicans would clap every time. The one time that they did stand together is when they talked about Israel. Why? Because all of them, the Democrats, they're all being paid very handsomely from AIPAC. So what he's saying, everybody knows is true. Obviously, he doesn't care about their money or his labels. And they're already labeling him because he said the truth. He's now an anti-Semite, allegedly, and they're also, Donald Trump and his cabinet are launching a federal federal FBI investigation on him leaking secrets. You see how they're just going to minimize and just try to throw shade on it. It's crazy. Read on.
Hey, and Cap,
Yeah.
a lot of people see that, but they're on the wrong side of the aisle, so to speak. A lot of people, like there was Edomites that was saying, why are we bowing down to a foreign government? That foreign government is AIPAC and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we supporting a whole foreign government? And now one of their top guys sees the exact same problem.
Now, keep in mind, this top guy is not a politician. This is the top guy whose wife was killed by ISIS, and ISIS, we know, he probably figured it out. Wait a minute. My wife died, like a lot of other American soldiers and Marines died because the CIA and Mossad played games so they can accomplish their political and economic agendas. And now more and more people are seeing that. To your point, Captain Matthew, it's now. Read on. I'm gonna get through this letter.
I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation.
Now, get ready. Go ahead.
That's the veteran talking right there.
Yep.
That's somebody who understands war and the fallout of those type of battles. He's trying to get the president to understand, like, hey, y'all are pretty much just wielding war like a kid who found his father's pistol, so to speak, but you don't see the everything down to the grassroots levels of it. He's trying to reason with him through this letter, but it ain't gonna work.
Now, real quick, because I got to make a point. I want you to hold the letter. I want you to get me number 17, and it's time stamped. So the Department of War, or AKA formerly known as the Department of Defense, DOD, they are asking for a $200 billion purse to continue this war in Iran. Now, I want you to show you that how Esau is getting so goddamn upset, right? Type in real quick, you can do it on your phones or whatever, and send it to them, or if you can get it. Type in what would it take to stop, to end poverty or end hunger in the United States and end homelessness per year. And I bet you it's a fraction of $200 billion. With $200 billion, and I'm saying this boldly and we're going to back it up, you could end homelessness in America. You could increase and make our highways better. Give a product of that would be people with money in their pockets, because there's a lot of jobs. You can increase the bridges. So homelessness, bridges, people being hungry, impoverished. So watch this.
Ending poverty. I'm sorry.
Rick, go ahead.
Ending poverty in America is estimated to cost between $168 billion and $539 billion per year.
Pause. Now, let's just check this out. Let's just go and say $200 billion is somewhere in that number. When it says end poverty, that just doesn't mean putting food on people's plates. Ending poverty means the infrastructure of the following: having jobs, which creates a bigger economy, which means that people can now buy more houses, which people can buy cars. So when you end poverty, people will have their own domicile, either an apartment with a vehicle or a house. That's giving every American a home and putting them out of the poverty level. Type in what is the poverty level per household in America. I think it's like less than $42,000 per household or something like that. It tells you what it is.
Well, right now per person, I know it's like 14 grand.
Okay, let's see what they're talking about. And that would make sense. So a family of 3. Okay, yeah, so, okay, let's just go with this. So if a family of 4 in the U.S. is 30, that's a small amount of money. 33 grand for a family of 4 is considered poverty level. So with 168 to 500 something billion dollars, you can bring every American citizen out of the poverty level. That's what that's talking about. Now you can end hunger and homelessness with a couple $2 billion. So understand that if we would redistribute the funding to both jobs, subsidize income for housing, we could end poverty in the United States of America. They're taking $200 billion and asking for that to do what? To fight a war based upon false intelligence. That's why this guy quit his job, because there's no threat. What are you talking about? So, excuse me, get me. Yes, so Lena Petrova, this is, she's very monotone, but she's got some good facts. She's going to go into their timestamp, all right?
Pentagon
$100 billion to fund the war of aggression on Iran. Yes, $200 billion. That is not a typo. And the ripple effects, well, they're already hitting your wallet. Gas prices, inflation, even jobs. So let's break this all down in plain English. Let's discuss what is actually happening. Behind the scenes, the Pentagon has submitted a request to the White House asking for around $200 billion to support its war of aggression on Iran.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done, for what we may have to do in the future, ensure that our ammunition is everything's refilled, and not just refilled, but above and beyond.
Now, this hasn't officially gone to Congress just yet, but it is already causing serious tensions in Washington. To put that number into perspective, $200 billion is nearly a quarter of the entire U.S. annual defense budget. That is massive. And even within the Republican Party, there are people who are raising eyebrows. Some lawmakers are basically saying, wait a second, what exactly are we paying for here? And that is the key issue for them, because right now there is very little clarity on how long this funding would even last or what specific operations it would fund, it would cover. The Trump administration doesn't have a plan. It is panicking. But one thing is very clear. This suggests that the United States is preparing for a much deeper and longer conflict than initially expected. The Quincy Institute recently posted the United States is spending at least $891,000 every day on operations.
She did that wrong. She said $891,000 a day. I think that's wrong. I think it's 800. Yeah, so it's almost been $1 billion a day. She said 1,000 because the war is like 17, 18 days, and they've spent almost $17.56 billion. That is an amazing, amazing amount of money. And we're gonna move on. It says that's $10,323 per second. Think of all of the people in this country, the veterans at the highest rate of suicide for veterans, homeless veterans alone. What else?
They have when veterans killed in action, they have to pay those families. They have the Prudential. It's a $500,000 insurance policy. So they have to pay those veterans. They have to get VA care. That's all that's tied up into that. If they get injured over there, they get Purple Hearts, whatever the case may be. They have to pay for that care because they're still active service, so they still have to pay for their medical care. They paying for munitions, clothing, you name it. They got to pay for all of that.
So just be mindful of the amount of money, and this is why Trump was running on MAGA. MAGA, the acronym Make America Great Again, and now Esau is real. You got Esau, the true diehard Trump, are burning their Trump hats, ripping their stickers out of the car and throwing it away. There's one guy, he rides around in a motorcycle. He used to be a hardcore Trump guy, and he's got a big bumper sticker and a big flag off his motorcycle that says F Trump, and he goes and he just argues with Trump guys, and he holds his ground. So a lot of Esau is irate because they believe, they put their trust in men. Before we go to break, go back to that the letter. I want to finish that letter, and then we'll go back to break. Just know this. This just happened. Matter of fact, it might be a date on the letter. Okay, read.
In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS.
And it's amazing because ISIS was fabricated and created by the CIA and by Mossad. So interesting. Play on, read on.
Early in this administration's high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran.
Why? Because who controls the media? Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Yawasab many times will show the chart. Matter of fact, see if you can pull up the chart about the major news outlets owned and their names, and it tells them they are predominantly, and when I mean predominant, I mean almost all Jewish men. And that's not me being anti-Semitic. That's me being using truth. There it is. So let's look at the major. Let's look at them. You've got Walt Disney, which Walt Disney has many different umbrellas. Bob Shapek, David, who is over Warner Brothers, Major, Comcast, Brian. Okay.
Brian Roberts, he's over Comcast. Charlie Collier, he's over Fox. Bob Barkish is over Paramount. Tom Rothman is over Sony.
And so the reason why, if you're looking at, it's kind of hard to see. Don't leave it on the pictures, please. You can't. Some of you can't see it. When you see that little, looks like the 6-point star in blue, that represents the Jewish media being controlled by a Jewish man. So this is not me saying this. 90, so we can say the vast majority is controlled by 6 Jewish conglomerates, large corporations that control many other smaller sub-media companies that are also major in their own rights. So, of course, they can control and successfully do that. By him doing it, he'll never get another job again. And I hope that the veteran community supports him and comes together. That guy will never. He ruined his political career. These people are going to destroy him in the public field. Okay, go back to that letter.
Let me see.
Let me just read for the interest of time. I got it. This echo chamber, meaning they kept repeating it, was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw in us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times, and as a Gold Star husband, right? Gold Star meaning he's a widower, who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel. This is what get him in trouble. Because before, when he said about how you went and killed Soleimani, right? He without knowing, maybe he doesn't know he's saying it. If it says the war was manufactured by Israel, well, who manufactured the war in Afghanistan? Who manufactured the war in Syria? It was the same Israelis. So he may not make that connection, but we're reading this objectively, we just made that connection. If you manufactured the war in Iraq, you manufactured all the other ones. So he's telling you, and this is why this is dangerous, because they can't, you can't take this down now. It's everywhere. Everybody's able to access this now. We're reading it right now. And you cannot take away his years of deployments, his years of expertise as a chief warrant officer, his Ranger background, his honorable discharge, his Green Beret combat tours. You can't take that away from him. And what that's going to do is going to enrage a lot of people that are so-called waking up in this system to their own BS. Like the other Esau said, the professor said, your own citizens despise you. Okay? And this is the veteran, this is the veteran talking. Read on.
I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for.
Right, the Israelis. Read on.
The time for bold action is now.
Right.
You can reserve course and chart a new path for
So it says you can reverse course. And this is not true. He cannot reverse the course. Get Jeremiah 50 as the least of the flock. We get it every other show. If Trump had the power to reverse the course of the future, it would be written in the Bible. He does not have the power. He is being used like Pharaoh was being used during the time when he led the Israelites out of Egypt. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord.
So now what is the counsel of the Lord? Get Isaiah 46 and 10. The counsel of the Lord has been written and it's already established. It was in God's mind before Adam was formed. This is the power. And this is why a lot of us can get weak in faith in a lot of our everyday lives. You worry about getting a job. You're worried about this. You're worried about that. But we are the people of the book, and we understand this book. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning.
Go to verse 9.
Verse 9, remember the former things of old.
Remember the former things of old.
For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me.
Right. And this is why we cannot try to be like men. Donald Trump, this guy that wrote the letter, you can't change Trump's mind. Read on.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
So the war that Ezra prophesied about in Ezra 15, what Isaiah prophesied in Isaiah 14, what John saw in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16 and 17, that was put in their mind thousands of years ago for an event that hasn't even happened yet. That's amazing. It's beyond our scope of thought. Read on.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
From ancient times, the things that are not yet done. Now go back to Jeremiah. Jeremiah lived far before Jesus Christ. So Jeremiah lived much further than 2,000 years ago.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord.
The counsel of the Lord, which was written, declared from the beginning. Read.
That he hath taken against Babylon.
Babylon in this context is talking about Babylon the Great. When you read in Psalms 137, that's some of the daughter of Edom. Okay, read on.
And his purposes that he hath purposed.
The purpose is because he's going to use Netanyahu and the Israelis to draw the United States of America, a.k.a. Israelis, meaning the least of the flock of Esau, the United States, meaning the greatest of the flock, the big brother. He's going to draw them out by using Benjamin Netanyahu, and not just him, because if they kill him tomorrow, the same agenda from Israel will continue on. Right now, it's the face of it is Benjamin Netanyahu. Read on.
Against the land of the Chaldeans.
Read on.
Surely the least of the flock.
Israel is a country of approximately 7 million people. That's what they say, right? There was over, I believe, 1.5 billion Arabs in that region. How is the least of a family able to make all this chaos and drama in war? Because it's biblical. Read on.
Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
Them is the United States of America. Read on.
Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
Right. So in the end, the United States is going to be destroyed, but that's going to be a process of time. All right. Now, listen, it's 10:41. All right. This is what we're going to do. We are going to go to Captain Matt. He's going to bring in his segment, and then we're going to go to our break. After that, we're going to come back and do the second part of the show. Y'all stick around, y'all, all right? All right. Shalom.
This just ain't no conversation. My thoughts, what I'm contemplating. Discourse for your education. God talk for edification. This is godly discourse. Godly discourse. Godly. Go, godly discourse. Discourse. Godly discourse. Godly discourse. Discourse. Yeah. Go, heaven. Godly discourse.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Look, today we're going to talk about these money manipulating pulpit pimps that they call pastors. Because y'all ain't the real pastors. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Y'all ain't the real pastors. All y'all is pimps. Modern day pimps that say God all the time. That's all y'all is. All of y'all do the same exact thing. And the Bible prophesied that you would do it. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
That's what y'all do. Christianity has created more atheists than history has. Some people will look and read a history book and be like, man, I can't believe that Bible because of this history and that history and this history and that history. Meanwhile, you got pastors saying God's law is done away with. but you still holding true to them ties, though. You got people saying that, oh, well, anybody could just fall off short of the glory of God. You can't judge nobody. Don't look at what I'm not doing. Don't look at what I am doing. Just love Jesus. It doesn't matter what color Jesus is. Read it again.
Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the flock of my pasture.
Want to know how they do it? Because they know the flock of God's pastures will follow a leader. Give me the first video. This is why I get on y'all, because these are the pastors that our people are forced to follow.
His desire for you, his child, to live in abundance. What does it look like for a king's kid to be struggling with basic necessities?
Is this some sort of peasant joke that I'm too rich to understand?
Oh, God. If my children, as blessed as God has made us, were begging to eat, that wouldn't be a reflection on them. Y'all would start asking, why he wearing that jacket? Why does he look like that and they live like this? Could it be that God from heaven is saying, y'all, could y'all please do it how I intended for y'all to do it? Because y'all making me look bad.
What, do you think you're better than me?
The world has...
So you mean to tell me that God wants you to just be shining, glistening, dipped in butter? That's what he wants you? That's what he wants you to do? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. Let's see what God wants us to do. Let's see, what did the Lord require of us to do?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
First off, he's talking to Israel. From Genesis to Revelation, Israel. Read on.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
You got to fear God.
To walk in all his ways.
To walk in all his ways. Last time I checked, Christ had a job. The Son of God came on earth in the flesh and worked a job. He wasn't here being rich. He wasn't here shining. Read on.
And to love him and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of the Lord.
That is what he required of us. Then he talking about, he tried to use the old emotional aspect. If your kids was begging to get something to eat, let's go to Acts chapter 4. Well, what if because there are kids that are begging to eat. Probably in your congregation. Probably in your city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They got homelessness going on over there. Let's see what the Lord told us to do when the poor is around us. Acts chapter 4, verse 34.
The book of Acts chapter 4, verse 34. Neither was there any among them that lacked.
Why did they not lack anything? Go ahead.
For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them.
So they had excess. They had abundance. They were living abundantly. And they took their abundance and sold it and did what?
And brought the prices of things that were sold and laid them down at the apostles' feet.
So when you got abundance, it's your job to look at your people and help them. Read on.
And distribution was made unto every man according as he had need.
So if there are children that are begging, there are houses that are going without, there are families in need, it's your job as the shepherd to take care of them. Give me John, the last chapter. John chapter 21, verse 15. Let's see what Christ told Peter. Did Christ say, hey, Peter, do you love me? Well, shine on him. Well, Peter, do you love me? Well, go get that money. Peter, do you love me? Well, where them bands at? Let's see what Christ told Peter to do.
The book of John, chapter 21 and verse 15. So when they had dined, Jesus said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these?
Christ said, do you love me more than everybody else? Go ahead.
He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs.
No, get that money.
Feed my lambs.
No, shine on them.
Feed my lambs.
Live in abundance.
Feed my lambs.
That's how y'all scatter the flock. Because when the drug dealer starts talking about all the money that they getting and trying to justify what they doing, they're saying, hey, at least I'm feeding my family. Hell, the pastor do the same thing. His drug is just a little different. His drug, go to Romans chapter 16. His drug is a little different. My drug is a substance. His drug is a thought, is a dream. Pimps specialize in selling dreams. Romans 16 and 18. Pimps specialize in selling dreams.
The book of Romans, chapter 16 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ.
They don't serve God. Go ahead.
But their own bellies.
They serve their own bellies. Read.
And by good words.
Good words, meaning those nice speeches that they give y'all. Go ahead.
And fair speeches.
And those fair speeches, they do what?
Deceive the hearts of the simple.
They deceive the hearts of the simple. Those that don't study, those that go to church for emotional connection, those that don't really believe in God, they just want to feel better about the sin that they doing every day. That's who they deceive. Give me the second video.
Very quickly, there is 17 people under the sound of my voice that's releasing, like this man of God that flew all the way from Houston, releasing a $10,000 seed. I want those 17 people to obey God. The Lord says, I ain't asking you to, I'm telling you to. I'm not asking you to, I'm telling you to. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. I want everybody to get your offering so fast that you can't even
17 people need to give $10,000? Nigga, God ain't tell you that. God ain't tell you that. Give me Micah chapter 3 and 11. This is why a lot of people leaving the church. When we start posting videos like this, you know what the people say in the comment section? Yup, that's why I don't go to church no more. Yup, nothing but a bunch of pulpit pimps. Yup, always after the money. Yup, and they probably gonna spend it on females. Yup, they probably gonna spend it on prostitutes. They know what y'all doing. They know what y'all after. They be in the club with you. They be throwing money too with you. Read that.
The book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward.
The heads judge for reward. In order for you to get a blessing, you got to give me $10,000. I'll give you the reward of God, but you got to give me the reward of man. Read.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
That's why when the pastors want to come teach at your church, you got to pay them. They want to come teach at your assembly, at your school, whatever it is, you got to pay them for it. They done made the house of God into a den of thieves. They're not in the temples trading no more. They in the temple selling dreams now. Read.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
They divine for money. I'll heal you. We're going to send that cash. You got Reverend Rollo Goodlove alive in the flesh in all of these churches. You got Reverend Leon Lonnie Love in all these churches. Straight lying and deceiving the people. And God is going to judge you if you don't repent. Because what are y'all learning from? Y'all learning from y'all so-called white man masters. Y'all go to his theology school and y'all learn how to psychologically manipulate people and get them out of all their money. And then what do they have to show for it? There was a lady that couldn't get $800 to bury her mama. And she was a faithful tither every single Sunday. So what is y'all going to do? Y'all going to sit back and let these people keep doing this? Or y'all going to actually look into the Bible and see what the Lord actually wants you to do? Revelation 22, verse 14. Let's see. The end all be all. The last chapter in the last book in the Bible. Let's see what God wants us to do.
The book of Revelations, chapter 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments.
That do what?
that do his commandments.
No, they give pastor money.
That do his commandments.
Because tithes dealt with the temple. The temple been gone. The temple been gone. We not in the temple no more, and they not Levite priests. The priesthood was changed. Hebrews will tell you that. Christ is now the high priest. Your offering is your body, yourself, what you do, your death that you put on for the word of God. Read.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city.
You want the kingdom of heaven? Keep the commandments. Stop giving these lying-ass pastors your money, because them ain't nothing but dumb dogs. And that is my godly discourse.
This just ain't no conversation. My thoughts, what I'm contemplating. Discourse for your education. God talk for edification. This is godly discourse. Godly discourse.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Why do you subscribe? IUIC New Orleans, subscribe. Go to our YouTube page. Help us to grow. Comment, like, share. What's going on? Make it happen.
They're going to see order. All of us looking straight ahead, walking in the same manner, singing the same song, stepping with the same foot. That is discipline. And they say black people, we can't do it.
They look like something special going on. I like this. Look like black unity to me.
We're showing the world that this is what unity looks like. They've never seen this before.
We're trying to gather the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. As America, when our people joy, no, that's the problem God had with us in the first place. We want to take joy in any wicked thing. But God is calling us. Let's keep God's commandment and live, man.
We love this. Too black, too proud, too strong. We out here.
The love that you guys have between you, that stands out to me as well. Just brought me to tears. I'm grateful.
What do you think about all the black men you just saw marching?
It was good.
It was good.
I just look at things different now. I never realized. I thought Jesus was white, but he actually our color. What they telling you in church is not true. Whatever this is, you need to follow this. It was on the ground. But it make you look at life in a whole different way. Whoever threw this on the ground is a dumbass. You should have read it. Awesome.
To show the world what black people can do.
I support y'all. I want you to know that I support y'all.
Man, it just made me feel like this is real. This is our history. You know, we need to rise above this bondage and everything else that come along with it.
Used to be in a gang.
I remember them days. A lot of people used to be in gangs. Not no more. It's amazing.
Used to be in a gang.
I learned some things that I didn't expect to learn today. You feel me? They told me I learned about Israel. I learned who our enemies is. And I learned that I'm a king.
Purple and gold, the royal attire. We out teaching truth. Set the streets on fire.
We out here to warn you. Mardi Gras is evil. Because y'all are showing her a terrible example. What's your name, little sister? Which one of you black women gonna show baby Bailey how to be a wife?
All truth. Ain't no need for the hate.
It's a start, and y'all can bring some more brothers in. I love it that y'all out here. It makes me happy.
What's taking so long? Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Another episode, second half of the show. We're going to get right to it. Give me number 3, tech team. This is Esau dropping. You listen, you want to know why the everywhere where the Jewish man goes, and they use it as an excuse, says, oh, we're being persecuted because we're the real Jews. Well, if you were the real Jews, why would you not call yourself Jews or Israelites? You always call yourself Jewish. And you glaze over the part that you base much of your understanding on a mystical book called the Talmud. Now, play number 3, because this is not us saying it. This is an Edomite, American Edomite, piecing together clues. And he's not anti-Semitic. He's just looking at history. Play.
This is why they were kicked out of 109 different countries over a span of 2,000 years. Has nothing to do with them being Jewish, has everything to do with what they practice. Check this out, okay?
The word goyim in Hebrew means a non-Jew in English. Sophorim 15.
We're non-Jews.
Even the best of goyim should all be killed. Yebamoth 98a. All children of goyim are animals. Baba Mesia 114b. Gentiles goys are not humans. They are beasts. Gachaz 2. A Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl.
Makes sense with everything with Epstein, huh? Look.
A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is
Stop.
less than 9.
The Bible, the Torah, our book, does not teach that the Israelites can have sex with a child. It speaks against that. It speaks against sexual sin in Leviticus chapter 18. Matter of fact, it says you're not even supposed to uncover the nakedness of your kin. So this is where a lot of their understanding and their lack of moral decency, this is why they're killing by the tens of thousands, men, women, and children, casualties of war that are not fighters of, what is they called? What are the ones in Palestine they call them? Hamas. They're not Hamas. This is where they get that from. The real children of God will be scattered, will be subservient, will be serving our enemies in the want of all things. We showed you before that 96%, which 6 of the major companies are controlled by Jewish. These are facts. This is why they control the narrative. And so this is what this gentleman's pointing out, is that a lot of so-called Christians that support Jewish people don't even know that, okay? Don't even know what their Talmud teaches them, which is, by the way, not biblical. Play on.
Talspot
Their religion.
84b. If you eat with a goy is the same as eating with a dog. Baba Mesia 24a. If a Jew finds an object lost by a goy, it does not have to.
Let's wake up, friends. Has nothing to do with someone being a, quote, Jew. Has everything to do with their fruits. As Jesus said, know them by their fruits.
Pause. So that chart right there in itself is wrong. You have to go back to it, but that chart is wrong. because they don't show the biblical Jews as being their real color. And color is part of an identity. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to share that with y'all because it's very important that you understand that a lot of their teaching is from the Talmud, not the Torah. Go to number 4. This is the Shah of Iran, breaks it down to a young, I love this guy. This is from the 80s. Mike Wallace, I think Mike Wallace is either dead or retired, was a very prominent American journalist. This is Mike Wallace when he was very younger, much younger, and the Shah of Iran is breaking down Israel way back then, some 30, 40 years ago. Play.
Your Majesty, you're not telling me that the Jewish lobby in the United States pulls the strings of the presidency?
Not entirely, but I think even a little too much, even for Israel interests.
You think the Jewish lobby in the United States is too powerful for the interests of Israel?
I think so. Sometimes they are disserving the interests of Israel
Explain.
because they are...
Pause. And this is why they make it illegal for any Israeli citizen to upload footage of their buildings and their cities being destroyed in Israel. They make it that you can be penalized, to fined and jailed, 5 years in jail. So what they're doing is for the mindset of a few elite in that Jewish circle that are trying to start the Israeli project, complete the Israeli project, which is from the river to the sea, they say. They want from Egypt, the Nile, Egypt, all the way to the sea, which is near the Persian Gulf. They want parts of Iraq. They want all that. It's called the Greater Israel Project. That's what they wear, the little flags on the IDF's uniform. He's saying what they're doing is bad for the regular Israeli citizens. And there's a lot of them, thousands and thousands of Israeli citizens are against what their government's doing. And they're suppressing that as well. So just keep that in mind. What he's saying is actually happening right now. So this guy, 4 decades ago, he is right. Play on.
pushing around too many people.
How do you mean pushing around?
Well, pressuring, they have many means at their disposal. They are putting up pressure on many, many people. And at the end, I don't think that it will even help Israel.
Why, if this is true, why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now wait just a second. You really do believe that the Jewish community in the United States is that powerful? They make the media reflect their view of foreign policy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They do not report?
Pause. Remember, Joe Kent, Jeff or Joe Kent, Joe pointed that out in his letter. He pointed that out in his letter on 2 different places. So not in much of the Arab world, because this guy is considered to be, I think it was Iranian. I don't know if he's Arab, but he's definitely Muslim. Many of them have seen this for decades and decades and decades. And they first saw it with the British when they drafted up the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which was finally implemented in 1948. So the Arabs have seen this coming for 100+ years. They know what's going on. And here's an example. A young Mike Wallace is getting the truth. Okay, play on.
Report honestly?
Don't mix things, please. I don't say the media. I say in the media they have people. Not the entire media. Some newspapers will only reflect their views, yes.
See how he felt pressure just then and there? How he tried to clean some stuff up? Now let's get a perspective of an Iranian, looks like a 2-star general, speaking to the American president. You have to understand that the way that we perceive Iran is as a very weak country. In the military, they're not as superior as the United States, but they have so many weapons. What's the confidence of this general speaking? Play that number 5. Number 5.
The United
Iran
States.
says U.S. troops don't dare to approach. The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets.
The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets.
The results of war are
Hold on, real
determined
quick.
in the
Stop it.
field.
I appreciate you reading. He's speaking English. Let's see if we can hear him. If we'll go back, we'll read it. If not,
Yes,
we want from the top. I think he's speaking English.
Message to the President of the United States. The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets. The result of a war is determined in the field, the very place where you and your forces do not dare to approach, and you can only talk about it in your tweets. It's better to name this war as epic fear instead of epic fury.
So he's saying instead of called, and what was it, epic something? Epic fury. He says you need to change it to epic fear. Now, I'm going to prove that. Get me George Galloway. George Galloway. I think he is number, 14. I like this guy. He's either Scottish or he's Irish. This guy, listen, a guy like this, I'm going to take it easy on this guy. Like he's all right. He could be my footman. He can be, you know what I mean? He going to be a slave, but I like this guy. Watch what he says. Now, it's floating coffins. He refers to, and he's going to break down about how the U.S. military is not as powerful as they seem when it comes to the naval fleets. Play.
They're too frightened to go anywhere near the country. I told you earlier, there is not a single American warship, let alone an aircraft carrier battle group, within 700 kilometers of the Iranian coast. And that's for a reason, because since the invention of dynamite, the development of drone military technology is the most significant development.
So pause.
Just listen to what I said there.
This is what changed warfare. Back in, do me a favor, type in what year was dynamite invented. I want to say it was like the early 1800s. I want to say maybe mid 1800s. When you created dynamite, it changed everything. It blew open the way for railroads. That's why we were able to get commerce to the United States. They blew open mountain ranges with dynamite to get highways. Well, first it was train tracks, then highways where you have cars. That opened everything to be able to move across the United States. Also, now you could use dynamite in war. You could basically C4 is a version of that. They make claymore mines they have, what they blow in a radius. The beginning of dynamite changed warfare. He's saying that the invention of modern day drones is that big of an impact on war as dynamite was. Read that.
Swedish chemist engineer Alfred Nobel patented dynamite in 1867. Nobel discovered that mixing highly unstable nitroglycerin with a absorbent material, diatomaceous earth, created a stable, safe to handle explosive paste that could be molded into sticks. The invention intended to improve safety in blasting and construction.
Scroll down, right, and then they used in war and construction. When you have a war, you have to have logistics. When you now could fight with and bring supplies in on a railway, that you could now blast to a mountain range and make tunnels under for trains to pass through mountains, it changed everything. So that was in 1867. That was huge. It changed the way everything was done throughout the world. Drone warfare is that big of a deal. It's that big of a deal. And guess what? The Ukrainians have it down. The Iranians understand drone warfare. Why? Get me the video. It says, did I send that to you? I don't know. Okay, play on with this. I'm going to send you Professor Wu, whatever his name is.
The United States, since dynamite was invented, drones and missiles are the future. Navies are very last century, and aircraft carriers are floating coffins. That's why one of them is now on its way back to the United States after a fire in the laundry room, and it's why the others are 700 kilometers away. Secondly, if through any means an invasion of Iran were to take place, tens of millions of Iranians would be waiting for them. So as Arakchi, the foreign minister, said, I'm finding him increasingly a superstar, I must say. Arakchi said, when asked, are you worried about an American invasion? He said, no, we're waiting for them.
Now, let's get that. I happened to pull that clip. Pull that up about, I think it's like number 4. Let me find it. You see his picture on there.
Hey, Cap, we say it all the time. The U.S. don't train for Iranian terrain.
Yeah.
They don't. They train in the woods. And they go they train in the woods and they send them to the desert. Then they train in the woods in the jungle, and then they're going to send them to a mountain range. Come on, bro. Y'all not
right.
But the Lord is doing it, and we're going to just sit back and laugh.
Number, I think it's number 5. No, number 5. Come on, man. I put, Lord have mercy. Oh, I know I put it in there, man. Oh, gosh. Yes, 13. This is Iran's foreign minister. Actually, just what George Galloway says. This is what he says. Watch this. Number 13.
They are asking other countries to come and help them so that the Strait of Hormuz remains open, which, of course, from our perspective, it is open. It is only closed to our enemies, to those who carried out unjust aggression against our country and to their allies. We have not sent any message. We are not asking for a ceasefire. But this war must come to an end in a way that it will not be repeated again.
Now, when he says not repeated again, their demands are they want all the U.S. bases shut down and to leave the Middle East. That's one of their demands. Another demand is that the neighboring countries like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, that they pay restitution for their crimes that they allowed the U.S. to have a foothold, and pay to rebuild their infrastructure and pay damages to them. So they're asking, they're not playing. Now watch this, because we're hard stopping at 11:30. Number 16. If you think Iran is weak, well, here's a journalist. I'm not sure, he may be an Israeli journalist because he doesn't do a good job of holding the microphone up to his mouth. This is the destruction of an Iranian ballistic missile to only one part of the city. They have destroyed much of Israel, not 1 or 2 buildings like they would make you to believe. Much of Israel has been destroyed. Why? Because the Iron Dome is not standing up to what they're throwing at it. Play that.
Is the wreckage from a ballistic missile launched by the Iranian regime. What you can see is a civilian apartment building in Bat Yam, or what's left of it, after a ballistic missile directly hit this building. Numerous people were killed, hundreds were injured, and there are now soldiers behind me digging through the rubble to try to find the bodies. They are launching rockets at civilian buildings.
So pause. So he's making an emphatic point. Oh, they're bombing civilian buildings. Now do me a favor. I want you to pull up images from last year in Gaza. Because, and now the Israelis, which no one deserves to have to suffer like that, but God is making all this happen. So we're going to have the mind of God, and I'm not trying to think like God, but I know God's plan, so I'm not surprised, and it is what it is. These are images. You just leave them all up. This is good. It's flattened. Look at the lower left-hand part of your screen. That is where the lion's at, where the lion, our logo is. Right there. Just look at that. You don't got to click that. That is a flattened area. Look at the one in the middle. Many of the houses, and many of that is residential apartment complexes and other facilities that were hit by 2,500-pound and 5,000-pound bombs. This is in urban areas. They've killed well over 100,000 men, women, and children, and injured many, many, many more. And yes, the Israelis are getting some of their own medicine right now. And here's the thing. Why is it now that they're going to hear all about how women and children are dying? Now it's important. But when brown Arabs are getting killed by 3,000 times the numbers, they're all just harboring terrorists. It goes to show you that if the judges of the earth rule this earth, they control the media, and if you have Caucasian features, and if you are Caucasian, you have value and your pain counts. If you are black or brown, your pain doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. Y'all better wake the hell up to that. Go back. We're almost done. The same video. We're having problems. Go ahead.
The bodies are launching rockets at civilian buildings. This is what we need to stop.
All right, now, get me, we're going to close out soon. Get me Max Blumenthal on Judge. Number 15, I have 2 timestamps. We probably are not going to be able to get through all of it, but actually we got almost to everything. Okay. No, I'm sorry. No. Hold up. Do number 7 first. It's with Professor Morandi. Do number 7 first. Number 7. Timestamp. It's 1 timestamp.
In this war, in Iran's retaliation and response, has caused some problems. We just had the resignation of Joe Kent, who was the Trump-appointed Director of National Counterterrorism. He resigned. I can pull up the letter. I won't read it in full, but I can pull it up so people can see it on the screen as you're speaking, Professor Ronnie. But he has resigned in reference to the fact that this war of aggression is a huge mistake. Talk about the interplay here. How has Iran's response to this war of aggression caused major problems, it seems like, inside of the U.S. political establishment, as well as just for both of the major aggressor parties, I should say, the big ones, which are the U.S. and Israel?
Yes, I think that this resignation letter is a big deal, and it says a lot. And the fact that he, who is a Trump appointee, says that this war only came about because of the Israeli regime and their lobby, makes things a lot worse for the Israelis and for Trump and for the Epstein class and the Zionist lobby in the United States. Because this, I think, is even more significant than someone like Candace Owens or anyone else like that making such statements. He's in charge of counterintelligence. He knows what's going on. He knew that Iran was not a threat to the United States, and this was simply done at the behest of the Israeli regime. And this is going to have, I think, a global impact as well. Countries across the world already know that the rising oil prices and gas prices and energy prices are because of the Israeli regime in the United States. But this is evidence. So it's not just a Tucker Carlson saying it. It is someone who was involved and deeply involved in state affairs and dealing with top secret intelligence and dealing with intelligence. So
pause. I want to just leave it on the screen. What's going to happen is that Joe Kent is already under federal investigation for allegedly leaking secrets. So what they're doing is putting fear in anybody that has a position like that. If you go against the establishment, they will ruin you. They will ruin. And guess what? Trump is very vindictive and they did the same thing to him. They put him on different charges. They put him through the ringer. He was facing jail time. They embarrassed the hell out of him. Trump has no problem. He's been through. He'll do it to other people, as a way of, if you don't side with me, then then you're going to get it. And this is what they're going to do. They're literally going to go after anybody politically, and guess what? Guess who's going to be behind it? The Jewish Zionist lobbyists, whether it be under the term AIPAC or whatever it be, any other funding organization, because that's what they do. People stand and vote and do things because they're getting paid little money. They're getting rich. Okay, and guess what? Where do you think some of this money coming from? It's amazing, man. All the money that we give, there's no checks and balances. There's no checks and balances. Okay, if you gave $17 billion of America's money, shouldn't it be like Elon Musk tried to do it in a while? Shouldn't we be able to go and see where each dollar's going to? $333,000 going to this. This is going to this. This is going to this many. Why can't we look at that? Why can't that be public information? Because a lot of that money goes in Israel's pocket, and they do whatever they want. And Netanyahu, he is the least of the flock, and he is going to lure out the United States. This is exactly what's going on. So just wanted you to share that this is being talked about in a lot of platforms. Now, go to the last one. Go to was it the last one I told you? Yes, we're going to close out with this one. Number 15, Max Blumenthal on Judge.
A domestic event was the resignation of senior counterterrorism official Joe Kent and the reasons articulated by him in his resignation letter. Can you enlighten us on this?
Joe Kent, I think, is the highest ranking U.S. official to have resigned over a war since Vietnam. And this war is shaping up into Trump's Vietnam, or at least his own personal Vietnam, to paraphrase Donald Trump referring to his exploits with women as a bachelor back in the 1970s and 80s. And so Joe Kent is seeing what the rest of us are seeing.
Real quick. I got to do this. I want you to look up Google Max Blumenthal. And there's a reason why they're not touching this guy. Max Blumenthal. Max Blumenthal is talking so much against the Israeli regime. But interesting, why isn't Max Blumenthal anti-Semitic? Because Max Blumenthal is Jewish. So some of their own authors that are going against and telling the truth about the Zionists and about he is Jewish. So this is not us saying this. This is another Jewish person speaking about the Zionist regime that controls the American lobby, Congress, Senate, House, Representative, all that. Read that.
Max Blumenthal, born December 18th.
If you click on, to save time, click on early life. You go to, right? Click on it, and it should say early life, and it gives the whole breakdown. There you go. Scroll down where it says early life. Right there, Officer Solomon.
Early life. Blumenthal was born on December 18th, 1977 in Boston, Massachusetts, to Jacqueline Jordan and Sidney Blumenthal. He is Jewish.
Read it again.
He is Jewish.
So right then and there, he is Jewish. So when we're listening to what he says about Jewish people, how come he's not labeled anti-Semitic? Interesting. You see that? This is, I'm telling you, it's all of this is as much as people try. You can't stop none of this, man. They can't. Go back to the video. We're getting ready to close out soon, y'all. We're closing right, and we're gonna listen a little bit of this. And we're gonna stop.
But he had seen it from the inside as the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, operating essentially one echelon below the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, a fellow U.S. veteran who brought him in. It's well known. Joe Kent has done 11 combat tours. He was a special forces operator, Green Beret, worked with the CIA, lost his wife, Shannon Kent, who was a CIA operative after the Syria withdrawal was sabotaged by military leadership. Why was the U.S. involved in Syria? Why was Syria
Pause.
happening?
Go to the next timestamp, interest of time. He talks about the resignation. We covered that in the earlier part of the show. It's a big deal. So this is a Jewish reporter that is speaking against the Israeli agenda that uses the United States to do its international bidding in attacks. Play next time.
Possible, because the Israeli goal is not the same as the U.S. goal. We don't actually even know what the U.S. goal is, but the Israeli goal is to destroy Iran as a nation. And to do that, they need the U.S. military to be involved for as long as possible. And Iran is demonstrating that it can not only hit back, but it can reclaim escalation dominance, and that the entire narrative that we're hearing about the Iranian military from the Israelis, which has infested our own media narrative.
Pause. You see that? You see he said that? This is a Jewish man, wrote many books, well respected in his arenas, saying that the media has been infested. Rewind it again. This is the Jewish man is saying this about American media that is been infested with the agenda of the Israelis. That's the same thing that Joe Kent said in his letter to the president. Rewind it just a little bit.
The U.S. military to be involved for as long as possible. And Iran is demonstrating that it can not only hit back, but it can reclaim escalation dominance, and that the entire narrative that we're hearing about the Iranian military from the Israelis, which has infested our own media narrative, that their missile launching capacity has been wiped out, that their drone production is wiped out, is totally false. Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary.
Pause. So we're going to end on that. Understand this. He said that the American media has been infested by the Israeli misinformation. So if they're doing that about Iran, what else are they going to do it about? How about the fact that they're not the real Jews, and that the real Jews, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, we don't get on their platforms. We got on the platform on a local news station. A phone call was literally given. They had to go take it off, put it back in the air, or read something, say that this does not share the view of this. They control all of that. But there is a God in heaven, and he's seeing all things. He's making this happen. And when it's that time, everybody going to know that the real Jews will be back in that day. So we just got to be patient, endure. Give me Luke 21:19. Let's go. Somebody needs to hit us tonight. Somebody needs to hit us. I'm going to tell you right now, y'all at home, as we get closer and closer to this time, a lot of you are going to go through some trouble. You're going to lose children. You're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose houses. Things are going to happen to you, and it's happening to some of you right now. If you let the cares of this world take you out, you stupid. No matter how hard it is, that's what I'm saying. You gotta. This is why it's a big deal to go to the Sabbath. You got people. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not even gonna say where it's happening. Throughout different congregations that skip the Sabbath when they could have gone. That's not right. We should be going to the Sabbath to get our mind right. Because we all carry this baggage of the world. We walk in the door. You should want to get healed. Hear the word of God. You see people. We're not coming after anyone's wife. We're not stealing stuff. In the world, you got to worry about all that pressure. This is the healing. Read that.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 19. In your patience, possess ye your souls.
And that's what we got to do. We have to be patient, right? Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the faith in Jesus, the commandments of God, and the faith of Jesus. Our soul is, we have to be patient. Whatever comes at you, you got to be patient. And guess what? Woe to them who have lost patience. And I'm going to tell you right now, this society and this rat race, this struggle to pay your bills, this struggle to live and to eat here in Babylon and other places, it is hard to deal with. This is why we need each other. So, y'all, we're going to stop now tonight. Captain Matt plugged the Booster Club real quick. Y'all know what to do. PayPal, okay? Text GIVE to 646-982-3858. We appreciate your time. We are hard stopping right now. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem, y'all.
Captain Matt. Officer Micah.
Officer Mikael.
And with that, we say shalom. Most High grace bless.
You're never gonna see this on any mainstream news.
This ain't what you want, this is what you need. Can't never forget. Yeah, they made us slaves, hung our kids from trees. I never forget. Nooses on our neck, whipped us till we bleed. And they gotta get it. Hey man, call it Galatians 3:13.
You're now tuned in to Precept upon Precept.
Crew so strange. Look at how low they hang. Oh man, took out the chains. So when the wind blow, we just swing. Much oppression, never feel 'em. Drinking dreams and it's bitter.